What's good, everybody? Happy Monday. It's your boy Kevin Thornton, and you have tuned in to the Women's Architect Show. Today is Monday, December 3rd, 2018. Right. It's going to be an amazing show. By special request, I've got your text, I got your Facebook messages. The guys are back. We got the men's roundtable. And what's funny is, it's more women who've been asking for your
really.
And like the dudes saying, you know, I want to hear those guys because they speak our language. It's actually when the ladies want to see a lot of, even though they have a love-hate relationship from you guys, they actually said they actually learn a lot from you guys.
Oh, okay.
So we got the men.
Probably because we the only ones telling the truth.
So it's gonna be a very crazy show.
He locked it loaded.
Exactly.
He locked it loaded.
So before we get started with that, first of all, I want to thank everybody for all the emails and the posts congratulating me on my award from EMU. I really appreciate that. Also, I just got finished doing a radio interview with Dr. Rashida, who's going to be on my show soon. And I'm going to drive to Dallas, Georgia on Friday to do her show. She has a holistic health show called that's going to be shown in Detroit and Kentucky and some parts of Georgia. So as I get more information about that, I'll let you guys know. But things is moving, and then I have to go to South Carolina in a couple of weeks to take another show. So I have a lot going on preparing for 2019. So
you going on tour?
I'm going on a little tour.
We on a world tour.
So first I got my boy Music Von Bellington. What's going on, sir?
Hey man, what's going on, bro?
Not much. What's been going on with you? Tell me everybody what you've been up to since the last time you've been here.
Smiling a lot more, laughing a lot more, being, you know what I'm saying, just going with the flow and pace of life, just naturally, man. Just talking to my people more, you know what I mean? Creating more.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Kind of just detaching from all the things that give me angst and anxiety, you know what I mean? I feel great, man. Looking great, feeling great. You know.
Yeah, you lost some more weight.
Hey man, you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to get there, man. I don't want to run into any of the fans out there.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I want to look the part as well. But yeah, man. But first of all, man, thank you for always reaching out, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's a good start to the week, man. When we can commune and fellowship as brothers, man. And just really kind of delve into the meat and potatoes, as my man Laris would say over there.
Yes, sir.
You know.
Mr. Hodges, what's going on, player?
Man, what's up, man?
Nothing much.
Chilling, man. It has been a minute since we've been here. A couple months, I think, at least.
Yeah, it went by fast.
Yeah, wow, this year has flown by. It's December, and what a year it's been.
It has.
You know, first half, second half. I'm still kind of reeling from last fall, you know, really, to be quite honest with you, but lots happened. As you know, would have been, was it a full month? Have we been 4 months or 5 weeks? We brought back Beer and a Conversation here to Status Network. Enjoying that.
I can't be at the show, but I listen to the show. Y'all bringing the fire.
Yeah, well, yeah. So please, anybody listening or viewing in, tune in tomorrow evening. We're gonna have a good show, and kind of some of what you want to talk about is tied to it. It always kind of happens that way, and we never know what we're gonna do. But this whole Kareem Hunt thing.
Absolutely.
And I mean, just everything centered around Ezekiel Elliott, Tiger Woods, some of the perils associated with a lot of what the topic's going to be tonight. I'll go more into it at the end of the show so that I don't divulge.
Exactly. I want them to come. I want them to tune in to see it.
Yeah, but everything's good. Like I said, I did go to New Orleans for Thanksgiving. I had a wonderful. The women and the people are so nice in New Orleans, and it's counterintuitive to what it is that people tell you, man. I mean, they are so, and it could be because they're more similarly situated. You don't see a lot of classism, not even from black and white, but not even from black and black. Like, because you've got like lower middle, upper middle, and even some upper class blacks in Atlanta, because it's a hub for affluent black people. It's one of the few cities in the United States it is. But there's not a lot of parity in wealth with regard to New Orleans. But not just that, but there's quite a bit of blue collar and middle class, lower middle class, middle class whites there, and they do live in the same areas as a lot of these blacks. So the city has a completely different feel to it. I love the spirit of the city. I'm not a Saints fan, but I like the fact that they are very galvanized behind their team, and they really did show us a good time there.
Yeah, I know when I went years ago, it was amazing. I remember my friend who I stayed with, she had to go out of town for work, but she left me her car. And I drove to this bar, and they treated me like I was Norm from Cheers. Like, they knew me.
Yeah.
And they was like, how you doing? Like, they like met me, like met no stranger. And like, they was buying me drinks. Like, they knew me forever. It was like, that was like, I had never experienced
anything awesome.
Like that. It was, made me want to go back. So we're gonna kick it right off to the punch. I already know this brother gonna set it off on this first question, but I'm gonna let Von do it first. So the situation was this. So it was a young African American lady, who was talking to her Caucasian friends, and she told them that when a black woman dates a white man, it's because they're into white men. She said, however, when a black man dates a white woman, it's because black men don't love themselves, for one, and two, they don't love black women. Vaughn, what's your thoughts?
I mean, I respect her opinion. I mean, I categorically disagree, like, on all levels. I mean, we have to stop separating behavior, you know what I mean, and accountability within behavior and reasons for behavior. At the end of the day, we're all human. So you can't say specifically that black women date white men because they're into white men. Like, that's a blanket statement. It's a generalization. You don't want anyone to generalize you in a negative way. Right. So don't use generalizations when it lends to your point, you know what I mean, that you're trying to elocute.
Right.
So no, that's not necessarily true. I think people have certain, proclivities over time that they condition themselves with emotionally, and they're like, oh, well, this particular group do me like this, or this particular group does me like that, I'm going to try something different. But don't say it's because, like, you're into them and your reasons are just completely pure. Like, you're human just like men are human, and we all have various reasons for why we do things. Now, as far as brothers dating white women, we hate ourselves. No, I don't. I mean, once again, you're making generalizations about people's behavior because it's something that you chose to do. Now, if you chose to do that and those are the reasons that you're dating outside of your race, then let those be the reasons that you're dating outside of your race. You know what I'm saying? It can't be it can't be a metric for everybody because you don't know everybody.
Right.
And that's just that's just factual right there.
I agree. Laris, what's your thoughts?
I don't know. I typically try to deal with people just on a case-by-case basis, right? So there's white men in my life I've come across that I didn't like. There's black men that I've come across in my life I didn't like. There's white men who I've adored. Black men, I adore you gentlemen in the most respectful way. And so categorize love and dating as anything different than, liking or attracting to someone because of how they treat you as an individual is one of the stupidest things I've ever heard in my life. Now, with regard to specifically in dating, you got to get to know somebody a whole lot more than just as an associate. You know what I mean? Just here and there. And it's odd that you say this and that you'd have that Georgia stuff on. So
Yeah.
I went and bought I went and bought a TV this past weekend. And if I owe you any money, don't listen to anything else. I'm saying. So I went and bought a TV, and we were talking about the Georgia-Bama game. And it was the white woman that was helping me out was very, very pleasant and very helpful and very attractive, I might add. And so,
Really?
now, needless to say, I may not get the date because I said, I'll tell you what we'll do. If Georgia wins, she's a Georgia fan. She's from like Winder, Georgia.
Oh, okay.
All right. I said, I'll tell you what, if Georgia wins, we got to get together and watch them in the playoffs. She said, done deal. So, I don't know. I don't know. So that may have killed that. I don't know, but who knows? I may can go back.
Right.
And I think that was like that's like one-time harmless flirting type of situation.
Right.
Yeah. So I wouldn't invest too much into that. I mean, if she says come down here to Winder Barrow, are you going down there?
Well, no, she doesn't. She's from Winder.
Oh, okay. Where's she at now?
She lives in the Tucker area.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah,
And she looks like she's built like a lot of our sisters are built.
Oh, okay. See, you gotta start off with shit like
okay, yeah. And I probably should have said that.
You gotta start off with stuff like that. You gotta start off with
so.
You gotta start off with she was shaped like
she
a
was
sister.
a very and even the other guys that was in there was walking by. I mean, she was a very attractive.
I don't think those are the white. I think people in their mind, the imagery of who they think that people are going after is not. I don't think she's insulted, or whoever made this comment wasn't really thinking about the curvaceous white woman that's got to put hot sauce on her collard greens.
And she kind of talked with a little bit of sister flair too. Yeah, so
that's no. She was talking about
a lily white Aryan. Okay, yeah, sure, yeah. But no,
we're talking about the Davids and the Toms and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? We're talking about imagery.
Yeah. I mean, so if she's listening, she knows the story is true, and I don't think that we exchange like Facebook information and none of that.
Oh,
but,
you didn't get the digits?
No, because I was literally hinging on the fact that Georgia would win this game, and then I could use that as kind of an inroad. So I'm gonna have to be a little bit more creative to try to lure.
How about this? Hey, what's your number?
That's not a bad idea, but you know what? I did get the TV, but at some point I need to get I need to get a sound bar, so I'm gonna have to go back again.
So now you about to pay. Now you about to pay like $130 for this number to add on to the other probably.
Well, you know what I'm gonna say? It's crazy we had this discussion, but I'm gonna be like, I know what I said last time, but let's just scrap that. Maybe we should just get.
You know, the funny part is when you see her, you're gonna recognize her. She's not gonna recognize you.
You think so?
We all look alike, man.
You got a good point. That's true. That's very true.
So you see what I'm saying?
So Net, you kind of giving me the go ahead, the green light. And Net is a black woman, by the way. So that's all. That's the only amen I needed with regard to that.
The follow up to that question was this. She went on to say that we have an inferiority complex towards white people.
Well, most black women do. That's why they look foolish with their hairstyles, and they try to look like a white woman's hairstyle instead of taking care of what they have. So that's not true either. You know what I mean? They look like clowns, man. You know what I'm saying? Now if you're in the gym, and you're working out, and you got a strong workout regimen, I get it. But some of this stuff is out of control, man. And they shop with Koreans. They talk about the Koreans. They talk about how the Koreans talk about them. But they spend their money buying this hair to look more Western anyway, more European anyway. And then they talk about white women. And that's nuts to me. That's crazy. That's crazy. Now, obviously, if you don't fall in that category, because it's not a generalized statement, but when we start talking about, I'm sure that the black woman has said there's an inferiority issue. I'm sure that she was not somebody who was of, who had completely removed themselves. There are some ethnocentric, conscious black women, but a lot of them tend to be whatever makes you happy. They tend to be of that enlightened state. Right. You know what I mean? And so hating is somebody who ain't got their stuff together. Right. That's all that is. And so black men like, and men in general who have any sense, like to be treated well. And it really doesn't matter who does that, you know?
And it's funny you said that. I'm going to let you chime in for a second. But it was so funny you said that is because in the midst of this discussion I had with this young lady, another young lady chimed in, and she said, and she come to find out she's from Detroit. So she says that the women have to take responsibility. The black women have to take responsibility and accountability. She said because I was surprised she said.
What's her name?
She said the black women got to take responsibility and accountability because we coming with these, and she include herself with these big time attitudes. And we treat them like shit. So then, therefore, when they respond in the way they do, and then we feel that they don't love us, or we treat them bad just because it's Monday or Tuesday. She said, no, a lot of these guys are not treating you as bad because it's Monday and Tuesday. Some of them may do treat you bad for some whatever reason. But she said, but a lot of times it's a retaliation based on the energy that they're giving the men. And she said, we're not going to grow. And I was surprised she said that. She said, including herself, until she learned how to treat men better, she's not going to never get anything good substance. What's your thoughts?
Man, sister, that was, you know what? I'm not even going to like pump your premium on the fact that you said something that I agree with. It's just it's the self-awareness that we all have to undergo, like this constant change of self-awareness. You know what I mean? Like, you can never become static or stagnant, you know what I mean, in how you view the world and how you view yourself and how you navigate through the world. So I appreciate hearing someone say that, because essentially that's what it's all about. Like, everyone reacts off of the extreme nature of their trauma. So if someone lied to you, you're going to be really, really sensitive, whoever you come across to, when it comes to truthfulness. Because you're living on an extreme measure. If someone cheated on you, it's just we always gravitate towards what's negative, and we tend to blow it out of proportion, when at the end of the day, like, as human beings, we all exist on a fluctuating spectrum.
Right.
So something that's bothering you today might not really bother you that much in 2 months from now, or at least it shouldn't, if you are really taking a wellness approach to your life.
Absolutely.
And that's the thing, and that's why I want to applaud that young lady for saying that, because if you're not working on wellness, if the things that you complain about are the things that you either are or you have funnels set up in your life to direct them towards your space.
What the things that they complain about are the things they probably need healing from. And
right.
But I had to make sure I make it layman's term, because you very articulate. But those things that you are focusing on, you need healing from. So if you are big on people who lie or people who cheated, since evidently somebody in your life, a dude, either lied to you or cheated on you, and so you focus on that negative. So then you focus on that on all the men, and so then therefore you're not looking at the positives of these men. So that means before you even try to step foot into another relationship with another guy, you need to try to get healing from those situations
and readjust your expectations. Like, expectations, we're unfortunately, women, I love the sisters, but I just from a man's standpoint, I'm just going to kind of break it down real quick. We are in the midst of the Me Too movement / I Know My Worth movement. Those two movements, number one of them wasn't really designed for you, even though it was founded and started by a black woman, but it's been hijacked and whitewashed. You know what I'm saying? So the meaning of the Me Too movement does not necessarily carry the same weight for black women as it should. But when you have all these different ideologies about how we want to be treated, it becomes a hodgepodge, excuse me, and no one really knows the correct way. You know what I mean? If that makes any sense. I met a young lady who was upset, who said a nice guy would have warmed my car up for me. So, you see what I'm saying? Like, and she was like, and her follow-up response was, I know my worth. Okay, I've been very respectful to you, but how expectations, how am I supposed to know that you value someone warming up your car when they don't know your mechanical situation?
Right.
Like, if we just hanging out, like, you see what I'm saying? Like, but that's what I'm saying. Like, a lot of these knee-jerk reactions are just based on,
and then too, on the piggyback off of that,
we say stuff that sound good,
and then
without putting in the work.
There are people who are gentlemen out there, but a lot of times there are women out there that don't know how to receive that behavior. So then, as gentlemen, sometimes they don't know, should they try it or should they not try it, because if they're not, because the woman might reject their intents. So and therefore,
good brothers tired of getting played too, though. I mean, really. I mean, since we want to speak in layman's terms,
okay, go ahead.
Being a gentleman doesn't hold. I was talking to my best friend today, and she's raising. Her and her husband are raising a son, and they had a discussion about how to treat women growing up. You know what I'm saying? And my boy was just like, no, you want to treat women a particular way. And her thing was, as a conscious black woman, no, son, every woman does not walk the path that's deserving. Like, that can put you in harm's way. It's good to be respectful of your overall environment, but to go out of your way to do certain things for people, you have to be a little bit more reserved and a little bit more protective in your nature, because everyone is not going to receive the blessing. Like, how many? We're all some pretty good guys. How many times have we poured into someone only to have them put the lid on and have everything that we're pouring into them spill over? You see what I'm saying? Like, we try to put efforts into people, but if someone's not responsive, it can't be an indictment on a whole group, because isn't that how we're treated as a race?
Right.
One mistake represents all of us. Kareem Hunt represents us right now, but Ben Roethlisberger can be a 2-time accused rapist and can speak out against Kareem Hunt. These are the type of things that we're dealing with as a culture. So why do we internalize ourselves with this senseless, divisive rhetoric? Why?
I love it, sir.
Yeah, and to your point, why couldn't a young lady just say, "Can you start my car up for me?" I mean, what is so hard about that? See, this is what I'm talking about, man. You know what I mean? This is it is. No, I'm serious, man. I'm serious. And when I come on the air, and I've said this time and time again, when I say that Disney movies have destroyed our community, they've created a false expectation for everything, for courting, for marriage.
She said that today too.
I mean,
about Disney.
It is just tattooed. We can't get out of it. Everybody,
it's not meant for us. Disney and feminism was not meant for the black woman. It wasn't,
absolutely.
Y'all. Facts.
It's a victim's mentality. It's an inherent victim mentality, and a victim mentality is a very weak mentality. I like people who take ownership. Like you said, I've had plenty of women who I've gone above and beyond. It's so in my mind I thought I did to do for them the things that I think they'd like for me to have done. And you know what? At the end of the day, and many women have said, and y'all know that y'all have said this, I didn't ask you to do that. When it comes up and you start going down the scroll of things that you've done, and you're not doing this to throw it in their face, but as men, we don't say stuff a lot of times about when we don't like something in whatever our involvement is. So when we do, we're like, hey, look, I expect this, this, and this. I do this, this, and this. I never asked you to do that. And so that's the cop-out instead of being appreciative. But there is a lot of truth to that. They didn't ask you to do that. And I think that what we have to do as men is not be victims. We have to say, well, look, I'll do one or two things. One, I'll do what I'm asked to do. Or if I do something proactively for somebody, I'm doing it at my own risk. And everybody kind of needs to look at it that way. And when I see that behavior is not reciprocated, I just need to pull up out of there and say that this is not the person I need to be dealing with. It's really very simple.
Right.
You know what I mean? What do I look like as a man or a woman dealing with a man getting into a tug of war with somebody?
Simping out because you begging somebody to do right by you. Like, I'm not going to beg you to do. I mean, if you rocking with me, you rocking with me.
That's it.
It ain't no tug of war, shawty. It ain't sandpaper. It should be super smooth. You know what I'm saying? Like a baby's bottom.
I had an old man tell me one time, he said, Hodges, if it don't flow, you got to let it go. And I really believe that in life. And I think that
It's our attachments
that
that cause our pain and suffering, man. We're just attached to notions, concepts, abstracts, whatever.
There's this big sorority of women in our community that are victims, and they just want to sit up and talk about being victimized and how men ain't nothing. Nobody wants to look in the mirror and say, well, maybe I should do something differently. I went through a lot in 18 months. Let me tell you something. A lot. And I had a good friend come to me and say, hey, he was like, Laris, he's like, I'm going to tell you something. He's like, I like what you're doing. I like to see where you're going now, how you're moving now. He was like, but I want you to know, every success and every failure in your life, you earned it.
Absolutely.
You earned it.
Absolutely.
All of it. And I was like, okay, I get it. Mm-hmm. But what that meant is that even when you're victimized, he said, even when somebody's victimized, to an extent, if the victimization keeps happening, they're the problem.
Right. So I'm sorry. So my background is that I went to school for criminology. So a large part of that was victimology. And in victimology, what we learned was that it's not about blame, it's about culpability. So that's which means what role did the victim play in their own victimization? It's never a blame thing, but no one wants to look at themselves and self-reflect and be like, you know what?
Exactly.
If these dudes only want one thing from me, what is it? You know what I'm saying? Or they always lying to me, or they always doing this. What is it that I'm setting up? What I'm inviting this?
Exactly, because like when I have
fellas too,
right? Because I said this. I had a guy who I coached, and I have some ladies who I coached, and I told them both the same thing. We're not going to, for the guy, I said, we're not going to talk about the females and what they did to you, what they did not do for you. I said, because are they similar, how they treat you? And he was like, yes. Are they similar how they act? He said, yes. I said, so therefore we got to look at you and figure out what is it within you that's attracting these type of people to you. And he said, I said, we're not going to focus on the ladies. I said the same thing for the ladies and the men. We're not going to talk about how the men cheated on you or lied to you, all this kind of stuff. What we're going to talk about is what is it within you that you're attracting these type of people to you, and what you need to do to change it so you can attract something better to you. And that's the thing, like you said, a lot of times they want to cope with that because it's easier to cope saying that person did them wrong than to say, okay, I effed up, or I made this choice now.
Or just what can I do differently?
What can I do differently? You know what I'm saying? So, and that goes, like you said, both ways, men and women. And so until we start doing that, we're going to always have these crazy relationships. So, since you talked about the weaves and the...
Yeah.
I want to ask you a follow-up question. Yeah, I want you to chime in.
I got you.
So what you think about all the makeup they wear?
I hate it. And obviously I
got part two to this.
And so just so that we're clear for people who may have chimed in later, the issue with the weaves and all of that stuff is that the statement made by the sister was that we feel inferior. That's why we deal with white women. And I want to be clear that they talk about the Asians and Koreans that they buy their stuff from, and they talk about how they talk about them, but they will pledge allegiance, their funds, to these women to look like these same white women, or to look like women, I don't even want to say white women, to look like women whose hair actually looks like that, straight hair women. So that I don't want to relegate that only to white women. And so I think that speaks more volumes about an inferiority complex than it does us deciding that we want to be, that we're willing to be an equal opportunity lover when it comes to people who are attractive and treat us right or whatever. Now, with regard to makeup, it's a little more delicate, right? Because there are at times, a lot of us at times have some skin issues, and I think that everyone reserves the right to want to cover up blemishes, okay? I can understand that. And I'm not against that. And there's a whole line of cosmetology that is centered around that particular issue. But when we start with the makeup that I'm talking about or I'm commenting on is of an excessive deceitful nature. And last week I specifically said that when I go on someone's Facebook or Instagram and I see filters, I'm turned off by it.
Damn it, man.
But I said this last week.
I know, but I wanted to get in on
and I'll make sure that I leave plenty of meat there. Don't worry.
It's plenty on there.
And because what it says is that from the get-go, I'm not going to see what I'm getting.
Right.
And I think that everybody deserves it. If women want to know whether or not a man is heterosexual or bisexual or pansexual or whatever they said last week, and I think everybody deserves the right to know what they're getting. And in a lot of instances, it's very, very excessive. And I've heard rumors of men who lay down with women and the woman looked one way, and just rumors that I have heard. And then
rumor. I told you. I did it for real.
Okay, well, I did too. I was trying to, but. And whoa, because you might wake up first because you might wake up first because you got to pee or whatever, and they're kind of laying there. They're not asleep because women don't actually sleep. That's a whole nother phenomenon. They're not asleep, but they're pretending to be asleep, and you kind of get kind of a real, when the lights coming through the blinds and in the morning, and you get a good clean look, and I mean, it can be it can be different. Now, maybe you had some drinks the night before too, but right, so there's a lot of variables that go into the distortion of what you saw. So I have an issue with it. Perhaps I have a bigger issue with $80 and $90 for eyelashes,
mink
eyelashes, eyebrows. It's not. This show is about educating people. There are not a lot of men that like that stuff. Yeah. And I don't know, men will say whatever. It's sad that we do have a group of men out here who are thirsty, who really don't get any women, and they will tell women that things look good when they really, really don't. To play on the vulnerability and the insecurity that they can already see that the woman has. And that's predatory.
So do you think I'll let you answer though.
Okay.
Go back. But do you think the women wearing the excessive makeup and the excessive weaves, are they doing it to attract us, or are they trying to do it for themselves?
Well, I think to attract us, because they have a convoluted, not because they've actually talked to men and found out what they like, but the following nature and once again the victimized nature of them is that they seek their homegirls. They look at how their homegirls look and they want to compete with their homegirls, and they think that that's the best way to do it. They seek advice from their homegirls who are in the same situation that they're in, and they get their beauty regimens from like Love and Hip Hop and stuff like that. So I think that they believe in their mind that this is what men like.
You're doing good. You're treading, but you're doing good.
You know what I'm saying? I think in their mind that they think that, but maybe they should listen to your show. Maybe every woman should share this and pass it along, but they won't be able to keep their anonymity, and really they want that because they probably don't like what we're saying, but they don't want people to know that they're even watching us. So the propensity for it to be shared so that women can get real information about what does not look right and what doesn't probably won't get passed along, but they'll probably all tune in to Love and Hip Hop, and they'll see I don't want to say a curse word on here, what's her name? The one, Carly Red, and they'll just think that that's what men like, so then they'll go out and try to replicate it.
No, what's your thoughts? No shade to Carly Red. So I've been listening, and so first let me just say this: it's hard for the sisters. You know what I'm saying? It's hard to be a woman and to be a black woman. You know what I'm saying? Because aesthetically, like, they are the most beautiful yet the most oppressed. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of that is psychological. It was a lot of physical, but now the physical has morphed into like this psychological thing. And my point is, my point is this: the filters, for real, filters are fun. Like, they're cute, but they're not supposed to represent or use or hide who you are. Unfortunately, it's so many sisters out there that are desiring, you know what I'm saying, like some good dudes, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think that the filters is something that softens the appeal. If they may not have full eyelashes, or if they may not have full eyebrow, or if their skin may be a little sensitive, these are things that initially, when they are going online to find interest, they're things that kind of get you in the door. And they're thinking and they're hoping, well, in my opinion, I think that my assumption would be, the hope is that they're a good woman, and that will override a lot of what they may not have aesthetically. Because the filter, if I see you with a filter, I'm just automatically assuming. If I don't see you smiling, or I see you with filters, I'm assuming that your teeth are jacked up and your skin's jacked up. And I'm not trying to judge, but I'm just saying, like, name a filter for a guy that a woman would ever respect. If a
heterosexual man put a filter on, right?
Yeah, you see what I'm saying? So
right.
You know what I'm saying. But then my thing is that the mentality is, I'm gonna do all of these things to cloak and disguise my actual appearance, but then I'm gonna ask you very, very personal questions about your physical attributes
and what you make, what you do for a living.
You see what I'm saying? So it's just like, I get it, sisters. It's hard. You know what I'm saying? You're competing with a lot of different expectations. But I spoke to a young lady, maybe like a month ago. We had a conversation, and she was saying how she wanted to get married and how she wanted to have a kid and everything. Mm-hmm. And she was just like, well, I'm going to be me, and I'm going to be comfortable, and I'm going to dress this way and this. So in my mind, I'm thinking a lot of stuff, but I'm not saying it to her because everyone's not ready to receive certain things. So right. I just let, you know what I'm saying? I just kind of just let the conversation play itself out. But then I did ask her one question, and her response kind of sums up a lot for what we're dealing with. Because we're not that far apart. It's just the ideologies that we refuse to kind of bend on a little bit. I said, have you ever, and my man Laris, alluded to this earlier. I was like, have you ever asked a man what they like? What do you think her response was?
No.
I don't need to. I know I'm a good woman. But no one's knocking down your door, baby. And it's not that she's unattractive. It's just that for me, you know what I'm saying? Like, I realized being on the show and doing a lot of things over the past year and a half, I've noticed that I've gone from this particular mindset to this particular mindset. And it's very, very evident, you know what I'm saying? When I come around, my energy is different. Yep. These are things that I had to work on for myself because I had a skewed image or an idea of what I was projecting. Right. But I had to be around people that were willing to consciously and lovingly be like, nah, man, you know what I'm saying? You probably need to just, you know what I'm saying, scale back. Like, we see who you are, right. But you gotta shed some of the hurt. Right. Because when you project that stuff first, nobody's going to come near you.
At all.
You know what I'm saying? Like, they just not. So that was her response. Like, I know you're a good woman, but, that's not helping you right now. Like, there's a lot of good women out there that's home by themselves watching Grays.
So, the question I asked for both of y'all is, do you feel you can find a woman that will allow you to fall apart and they will help you build you back up? When I say fall apart, is like become completely vulnerable, like something's going on and you just lose it. And you might get, whether it's get emotional, whatever situation may be, but you fall apart, and you find that woman's going to help you put yourself back together.
I mean, I'd like to find it, but I won't stop it from allowing me to move forward with a woman, as much as that's really what I want. And I have to kind of pray and put that in God's hands, and let Him kind of guide my decisions. You know what I mean? Let the Spirit, and to a degree it will if you listen to it. You know what I mean? You'll get when something's not right, it'll you know what I'm saying? In a spiritual nature, it'll repel. There'll be something in you that you just know that this isn't what it should be. And so one of the things that I've tried to do to protect myself is we don't know what type of financial situation I'm in. We don't know. I can tell you that I'm barely getting by, and that's where I am with things. To try to, at the best, alleviate being a target for impure intentions, right? Coming to America was a good movie. It had a great message to it. You know what I mean? It was a comedy, but it had a really, really good message.
Borderline Disney, though.
Right. Yeah, because
a prince, he's got his own money.
right. But I want that. I really do. I would like to be with a woman who really wants to be there with me for me and is willing to be there, because I don't know if things will collapse financially, but we're fallible. We're men. Tragedies happen in our lives. I've experienced this. Things are going to happen, now, but I'm not so guarded to the point to where I'm not willing to go out there and get beat again and not get it. I'm at least willing to take a beating again if it happens, But the good thing is, because I have gone through this a little bit, my recovery time will be different. Because I'll be like, oh, you're not down, you need to get the hell on. While I'm already in a bad place, I'll be like, you may as well go ahead and just get now. You know what I mean? I ain't going to fight and push and pull and try to pull teeth to get nobody to be on my side, because I done been down. I see what happens when people are halfway there, when people are all the way there. And so the good thing is, because I've seen it, even if I go through it and I don't get what I want, I'll at least know that, okay, we need to get rid of you fast. Let me just go through this on my own, or with the people who gonna be down regardless.
Right. What's your thoughts, sir?
It takes a lot of emotional fortitude and emotional, and I keep using these terms like self-awareness and emotional health, because those are essentially the things that we're trying to master and that we're trying to stabilize in our lives. Like, you do those things, and I feel like everything else in your life kind of falls into place, because you know who you are and you know how to gauge, once again, your expectations. You know what I'm saying? You know how your work ethic, your work output, your input. You know what I'm saying? That's when you really say, I know my worth.
Right.
At that point. But it's not a badge to berate people with. It's just one of those things where when you know your worth, other people automatically know it, because you don't have to, it's not a badge that you're wearing.
Right.
But anyway, I think that that's really the emotional side of it. You know what I mean? Just take your time. You know what I'm saying? Take your time and stop trying to force everything. Like, you know what? Sometimes it may not even be time for you to, you know what I'm saying? Like I go through this all the time. Like, am I ready to date? Like I have to ask, like I, because it's not a static state. You know what I mean? You might think that you're ready, and then, you might get out there and be like, you know what? Atlanta's still it's still like a minefield out there. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So, should I try to date, for a couple of weeks or whatnot, and see how that go, and see if I can meet somebody. But I noticed that I never go wrong when I pour back into myself. So when I run into issues or perceived issues with people, it doesn't really bother me anymore, because I know that it's inconsequential to my overall progress. Mm-hmm. Now, if I start chasing the situation, then it could become detrimental. But I ain't chasing nothing no more. You know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't chasing it. If you rocking with me, you rocking with me. You know what I'm saying? If I like you, I just like you. You know what I'm saying? We don't have to play this psychological warfare to obtain leverage when we want to be vulnerable. Like, that's the hardest thing. Being vulnerable is, men aren't vulnerable because they feel like that one time that they cried is gonna come up in something petty later on down the line. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. And go ahead.
Let me tell you, because I went to Detroit. We had a conversation about that, about a lot of men feeling comfortable enough to be vulnerable, and if they have to cry. And the women was saying, it was more than one, was like, if the man cried, they were done. They were done because they said they were weak, and they can't have that.
Welcome to domestic abuse. Because that little notion that a man has to have nothing but aggression is going to backfire on you. Because when you want that brother to be sensitive and to listen to what you really got going on, because you done lost a parent, or you done had something tragic happen to you, and he's just a stoic brick wall. See, women, I mean, I ain't trying to be funny, you know what I'm saying? I'm about to make a real generalization. If she probably smoking Cools. She probably got a pack of Capri Slims over there talking about, if a man cry, I'm done. That is the most asinine thing that I've ever heard, because I bet if she had a little son, if she had a son that was under the age of 10 and he cried, she wouldn't just be done with her son. You know what she'd do? She'd scoop him up and be like, baby, it's going to be okay.
Oh, so, she'll be like, who made you cry?
Who made you cry? Was it that fast little girl? Mm-hmm. And then that starts the cycle of him not appreciating women. We listen to our mothers. Like, people think that it's Nah, we listen to our moms when it comes to how we need to go about. Your mom is the first woman that you love.
Right.
So naturally, that relationship is going to dictate how you interact with women, and they not understanding that. So you tell me, if a man cry, that man could take a bullet for you, but if he shed a tear, you done lost all respect. This is why good men are withholding their greatness from women and not allowing themselves to get trapped up, because you don't know if she's that type of woman until it happens.
Right.
You don't know.
Or they'll say, if you feel a certain kind of way about something, they say, you said to me one time, and that's it. You say more than once, it's not a good look. So it's like, we can't really
let them be lonely.
Yeah.
Let them be lonely.
Yeah, I'm not.
Let them be some spinsters. You know what I'm saying? Right. Ain't nobody got time for that, man.
I'm definitely not the man for that. I go through every emotion every day. You know what I'm saying? Like I be happy. You know what I'm saying? I'm happy most of the time, but I have I'm experienced 10, 15 minutes of sadness. I laugh. I might be in the car, bro. I don't even know why, and I cry a lot. I probably cry more than most men. I am not just from a radio personality standpoint, I'm a very passionate, expressive person. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And when I'm extreme with it. So when I'm angry, I'm extremely angry. You know what I mean? Yeah. And that's not good. That's not good. Yeah. But I'm one of those, I might something good. I might not cry because I'm sad. I have had good things happen to me, and I know I didn't deserve it to happen to me, and it happened anyway. I knew that wasn't nothing but the hand of God, and it broke me. You know what I'm saying? And I had to get off the phone with people. I wake up. It's been 6 years since my mom been gone, and I do good 99% of the time. But I might have one day, I might be one place, I might be at Whole Foods, I might see one flower that reminds me of my mom, and I gotta go outside.
And the woman
to my car.
And the woman with the finger wave smoking the Capri Slims talking about if you cry, she done with you.
I acted a damn fool on one of my daughter's birthdays. A fool.
Right.
I don't know if she had finger waves, but that sounds.
And you know what broke me down is that when I said something about how sorry I was. And I said, I hope that they can look past him. She said, Daddy, I forgive you, and everybody else forgave you too. Well, I'm saying there are things that's going to happen. When you live the life that I live, it's a very intense life. And life was meant to be lived intense. Life is serious. You're not going to get another bite at the apple, after this is over.
Right.
You don't get a second chance. We come in here and we do this mic thing, man, I pour my heart into it. And everything that I do, every day of my life. And I go hard. And I experience real feelings, and I am a man. I'm a man who cries, and I'm not weak. I'm a man that doesn't care what people think about me. So I don't think that that's being weak.
Facts.
I think that's probably more. You know what I mean?
Facts.
I don't know, but I don't have to. Who do I have to hide from?
Men have a very, very, very. The expectations for what we are supposed to provide. Financially and physically and all of that type of stuff is very, very broad, right?
Right.
It's loosely interpreted. The emotional window that men are allowed to operate within is very, very narrow.
Yep.
And we're penalized for things that women get to just go out and literally show they behind. But just like you were saying, the young lady was saying, well, if I do something wrong, I just want to hear about it once. Well, you need to go just be by yourself so you can talk to yourself forever, because you're trying to cut off, you're trying to restrict my autonomy, but you don't want anyone to restrict your autonomy. Right. But you're trying to tell me how to think, feel, react just because if I react a certain way, you out. Well, that means you were never down in the first place.
Right.
Because we might go through something. You mean tell me the man, you don't know what a man could be crying, like if you just like you say, like nostalgia hits you. So you might be thinking about a talk you and your mom had and you tear up. So this young lady, you know what I'm saying, theoretically would just be done with you. Like you weak because you miss your mom. Right. But if she was a mom and something happened to her, she would damn sure want her kids to cry for her. I don't understand the hypocrisy in how we settle down with these ideologies that don't mean us any good. Let people be who they are, and you'll be surprised what you like when you open yourself up to it within reason. You'll be really surprised.
You know, and I try to tell people
dictating
all
everything.
the time,
That's why you by yourself.
whether if you dealing with people as friends or in relationships, you know, can I love Laris Hodges for who he is at this moment, not what I think he should be to be my friend. You know, if I can't love him for who he is at this moment, I can't be his friend.
Right.
Same way if I was trying to date a young lady. If not, my question to myself is, can I love her for who she is and not what I want her to become? And, and I think that's where we all mess up at a lot of times.
I got a friend that's gay. I cried when he told me he was gay. You know why I cried? Because I felt sorry for him that he couldn't be who he wanted to be, that he had to hide this all these years. I know that was heavy on him to tell me that. Yeah. I know that was hard on him to tell me that. You know what I'm saying? I'm a human being, and people are human beings, and I operate. I'm one of those people. I operate in the spirit.
Right.
I'm constantly operating in the spirit. You know what I mean? So I don't these social norms and stuff. I don't get into them. They don't mean anything. I've never been a big rule follower anyway.
No,
I don't. I just don't like them. You know what I mean? Now. You said something earlier, and I wanted to comment, if I may, just retract back just for a second, Kevin. I don't want to change the projection of where we're going. But this is for the men, if there are any men listening.
I do know a couple of them.
You know what you are, right? You know when you plant your seed in the ground, you have to plant it in the right soil, and make sure you water it, give it sunlight, and be patient. I would not play psychological games, even if women are playing psychological games, to try to appear to be this. I mean, just be who you are, and know that if you're genuine with who you are and how you handle things, that with time, everything that you've done is going to take root, and it will take root. Now, it'll be up to you whether or not, when things are where you want things to be, if you're going to deal with a woman. But I wouldn't chase behind women, because when you're genuine and when you're who you are, them going out and dealing with other men doesn't hurt you. It actually brings them back to you faster, because what's out there is a lot of ingenuineness. And so be who you are and be patient.
Right. So before I go into the next thing, I do want to acknowledge we've been doing this for like a year and a half. So
we have been, man.
I have seen the growth in both of y'all in the past year and a half.
Thank you.
I'm being completely honest. There's been some times we'll leave this show and I'm like, oh my God, I need to have prayer for and some of them, and sometimes y'all know that I'm gonna say something to y'all, because it's like one for sure. I'm like, man, they both operating in pain right now, and so and it was like, wow, what's going on? But see, to hear how y'all are right now, it makes me proud of you guys.
Thank you.
Proud of you guys. So what I want both of y'all to do is, I think it's a lot of, for those men who watching, even the women who watching, but especially the men, there's a lot of men who are hurting, and can you please speak to them about trying to heal themselves first before they do anything else, and what y'all, and maybe give them some points of what y'all have done to help heal yourself and y'all pain.
You want me to go first?
Yes, sir.
Detach. Detachment is the very, very, very first thing, because we get into like this paradigmic cycle of thought and belief and manifestation, but the manifestation is not positive manifestation. It's a rut manifestation. So if you're a little, if you're a little jaded, if you've been rubbed a little raw from some relationships, in order to give yourself true time to heal, you have to give yourself time to heal. Which means you're not missing out on life if you take 6 months to yourself and just really, really like read some books, start a new workout regimen, learn a language. You got to pour into yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like it wasn't until I stopped trying to be and chase other things that were kind of just draining me, that I realized, like, first of all, I'm dope as hell. You know what I'm saying? Like, I bring a lot to the table. I'm very, very creative. But my energy and my negative, the negative view of my own life and me personally, I was projecting that on the other people, and I was blaming it on my experiences, but I didn't realize it was my behavior that led to my experiences. So when you don't escape and just say, hey, yo, it's me, you know what I'm saying? I'm the gift, but I have to work and I have to cultivate this, and no one is just going to just knock down the door and say, hey, you're special. Even though they may see that you're special, if your behavior is not indicative of that, like, you're gonna push people away and you're gonna alienate them. So I just was like, just detach, meditate, get yourself on a regimen, hydrate yourself, take a 30-day fast. You don't have to fast. Like, when people hear fast, they automatically, like, they tense up. But a fast is anything in which you have created a habit for, that you looking up and you can't step, like, you have to make yourself step away from it. And that's all a fast is, just making yourself step away from things that have become habit and ritual for you. So if it's TV, if it's sodas, if it's whatever it is, it can be anything, but you have to start creating the small levels and the small anchors of discipline now at this particular stage. Because when you're trying to be in a relationship, as soon as something triggers you, you're going to revert back to your old ways. In order to really, really, really settle into a more peaceful and harmonious, like, life and practice, it has to be practice. You know what I'm saying? Practice doesn't make perfect, but perfect practice makes permanent. You know what I'm saying? That's what you got to have. Like, you just got to have a permanent mindset that, yo, I'm good. You know what I'm saying? You had told me something when we was having one of our mini talks, and I really, really admired this about you. You were saying that you come to a point in your life where you're not afraid to lose. You're not afraid of missing out. And that's where I had to get to. I had to, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm a sensitive guy, you know what I'm saying? So I kind of like used that edge to, like, keep myself protected. But I realized, man, when you do stuff out of the pureness of your heart, the universe will cloak you, and it'll wrap you up in positive motion, positive movement. So continue to be who you are. And the people who aren't meant in your life, they will fall off like a scab. But in order for the scab to fall off, it has to do what? It's got to heal. You see what I'm saying? You see how all this, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's how it works. You know what I'm saying? Like, you scabbed up because you keep picking at it. You're not allowing yourself to heal. That would, like, sitting back and not doing anything and just being still and just reading and just drinking water and pouring into yourself, cut out the whatever your proclivities are. Cut them in half, and you'll see a difference in your life. You know what I'm saying? Like, just factual. But if you gotta want the change. You gotta, you know what I'm saying? You gotta want it. If you don't want it, then, you know, you're gonna be fake woke.
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't agree more with everything that you said, Monk. And it is that way. It's the biggest thing I could say, if we had to just starting off, is don't panic. Right? I did that. Don't panic, you know. Breathe. You know, it is a time for self-reflection. I listened to a lot of Eric Thomas. One of the things that got me through, I got hooked on this motivational stuff, man. I got hooked on it heavy. I'm serious. And he said that greatness is remembering in the dark the promises that God made you in the light. And because it's inevitable that we're going to go through it, if there's a storm going on, a hurricane coming, a tornado coming, whatever, and the roads are undrivable, there's no gas to put in the car anyway, the grocery stores are closed, the power is out, the internet is out, you really don't have no choice but to put yourself around the right people in the house and a candle, and y'all may as well figure out how you're going to enjoy it until the storm passes. You know what I mean? Don't get yourself worked up over things that you can't change. You know, because when you lose the battlefield of the mind, when you lose this, that's when you're going under. You got to keep this intact, you know, and that's the first thing you got to do is how can I preserve my mind? I would suggest a new circle.
Absolutely.
Even if you're broke, it doesn't really do you good to hang around broke people. You might want to find some wealthy people you can hang around, certain circles you can get in.
Right.
And it's not necessarily they're going to give you some money, but your mind has got to be elevated.
Absolutely.
At all times. You got to protect your mind.
Uh-huh.
You know, I've seen so many things that looked like they was going to go one way, and they didn't. And to your illusions of nature, you know, just a week ago, it was 32 degrees outside.
Right.
Yep.
6 days later, it's like 70 degrees.
Right.
Just sit still. Things are going to change.
Right.
They're going to change. But if you make a bad decision while things are bad, you won't even be able to recover from them, or it'll be that much harder to recover from them if you had just sat still. Be vulnerable. Be honest. It took a lot of, hey, Kevin, can I hold $20 for a couple of days?
Right.
You know what I mean? But you're going to have to be willing to be vulnerable. You're going to have to be honest.
Right.
And you got a lot of help around you. You got more going for you than you think,
Right.
you know? But you're going to have to look introspectively. You're going to have to be honest, and you're going to get another shot. And when you get another shot, boy, I'm going to tell you something. You ain't going to never let it go.
Right. I think one of the things, too, you know, what y'all said is great. The circle thing, getting a new circle is major. Because I think as we all grow as men and we elevate ourselves and our mind and our spirits, then we change as men. And then a lot of times we get fearful that if when we change, that the people who we would consider our friends may no longer want to be our friend because they're not gonna like the new version of who we are at this moment. And my thing is, you gotta be okay with that, because you know, relationships are purposeful. So maybe the purpose of that relationship at that time has ended because now you are a new person. And if that person only likes the old version of Von and not the version of who he is right now, you know, that means you got to either dim your light to make them feel comfortable.
We don't dim for nobody.
Or lower your vibrations.
Don't do that for nobody.
There you go. To make them feel comfortable.
That's why the first thing I said was detach.
Exactly.
Because you know, like I had, you know, I mean, you know, I had somebody in my life I was very, very close to and fell out with, and have not spoken to them since we fell out. And at first I was hurt. You know what I'm saying? Then I started thinking about it, like, when you bring so much to the table, you know, you have to prepare yourself for the long run as a man, as a patriarch, as a pillar, as a mentor. You have to learn, you know what I'm saying, like how to weather the storms and take things for what they are, and be like, hey man, you know, we had a good run. But what I got to do for myself is get away from the people who only want me around because I got a truck.
Right.
You know, I had a really good friend of mine call me the other day, like frantic now, was like, hey Law, you know what I'm saying, do you still have your pickup truck? And I'm just like, yeah, but let me stop you right there. I'm not doing anything I'm not using my truck for anything other than for my own personal things. And I'm not materialistic. Y'all know I'm not materialistic at all.
Right.
But I just realized, when you say to me, oh yeah, you know what I'm saying, like, oh, I was you know, you was like, you know, I gotta be in a bad position if I'm calling you. And I'm like, nah, cause it's $20 to rent a truck from U-Haul. It's, you know, $30 to rent a truck or somebody's truck off of Turo. You just saw me as you're creating a pattern of only calling when you want to use my vehicle, and I'm picking up on it. It don't mean I don't think that you don't got no love for me. You just created a bad pattern. So I gotta break the pattern.
Right.
And set my boundaries. If you gonna call me, you gonna call me because you want to see how I'm doing, or you want to hang out with me. It's not because you want something. Because right. I'm not in the business of pouring into anybody else. I do it mutually.
Right.
But I poured so much into the universe. I think the universe has told me, I'm providing you with abundance because of the work that you put in. Continue putting in the work. But right. Don't let people, you know what I'm saying, literally like take everything you got, because that's what's making you bitter too.
Right. Because I think I can speak for both of y'all. All three of us are very nice guys.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Guys.
Absolutely.
And I think a lot of times people could try to take advantage of the niceness.
They pick up on it quick.
Because I know both of y'all, your intentions is pure. So if you're going to do something for somebody, you're doing it because you want to.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times we start to realize when that type of person, nurturing type people, a lot of times we end up not getting back what we put out into the universe when you deal with certain relationships. So that's what you come to. Now, that's, like you said, you had to change how you do things because, okay, part of it is on us because we have to start setting some boundaries and expectations of how we want the relationship to go. And the thing is that, if I'm going to give out, I do have an expectation that, you got to pour back into me too. And not when you feel it's convenient.
And that's the thing. Like, if you gotta, when you find yourself constantly having to, I don't have to tell y'all how to treat me. You know what I'm saying? As my boys, and vice versa, because we have a mutual respect for each other out of the gate.
Right.
And those are the things that you want to look for when you are now me personally, my problem is when it comes to changing my circle, I'm extremely reclusive.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So for the most part, I just prefer the confines of the comfort of my own space. I'm an only child. I've always kind of grown up like that. So that's kind of like my safe space. I have challenged myself to be more proactive and get out and do more things, which I do, and I have a great time. But I'm very, very cautious about people that I bring into the fold. Right. You know what I'm saying? Just because everybody's time and energy and sanctity is very precious. And, everybody not meant to be in your life, like, on that particular level. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like that there is a very, very delicate balance when it comes to elevating your network. You know what I'm saying? But it's undoubtedly something that has to be done because, no man is an island at all. You know what I mean? And in order to learn and grow, you got to put yourself in environments that'll challenge you, that you'll be around things. Whenever I say, oh, man, I'm just going to stay in the house, I make myself get up and go, and I always have a great experience, meet some people, you know what I'm saying, maybe get a number, sign, you know what I mean, but I'm just always grateful for stepping out of my shell. Right. And people, you know what I'm saying, people like my vibe when I come around,
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. So, thank you both for being authentic of that situation.
Oh, sure.
We ain't gonna lie about it, man.
We don't get a lot of times. I'm trying to change the narrative that people see us in a different light. Yeah. And so for you guys to be completely authentic, including myself being authentic, that helps women to see us differently than what they may think they know of us.
Sure, absolutely.
The next question is, it speaks to something that you had said. I know the three of us don't do it, but you got the guys on Instagram or on Facebook that will post their new whip. They got a new Mercedes. They posting that picture. They posted their new watches, whatever they got. So can they get upset that the women they start attracting is coming for them because of what they have and not who they are?
No, and inversely, I know you want to jump in on this, but inversely, women who take thought pictures and use thought poses, if that's what you advertising, McDonald's advertise what? Fast food, right? So I go in there expecting fast food because that's what you advertise. Now, I don't eat McDonald's, but that was the easiest metaphor I could use. It's the same way with whatever you do on social media. But people realize social media is not real. There are people that have entire lives and existences on through the internet. It's not real. It is like it's like this sinister metamorphosis of like the Sims, where it's like we're all live action Sims, and like whatever we put on the internet, that whole living your best life, like all of that stuff is cool. There's a lot of factual and a lot of grounded information on social media. But when you're posting things like, for example, the woman that I spend my life with, she will not be posted on social media the 2 seconds after she's giving birth to my baby.
Absolutely.
My newborn baby, whose eyes have barely been adjusted to this new world, will not be on social media.
Who's still high from the epidural that came through his mother's spine.
You know what I'm saying? Will not be. It's just certain things that don't need to be shared because it erodes the intimacy of your life. You know what I'm saying? Like people, it's just not real. So a lot of times you might send a message about wanting to link up and do the show, and you don't hear from me for 3 days and got to text me because I'm not on social media.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not knocking social media. I'm just not disciplined enough to only use it for those reasons. But when I see people posting like they car and they whip, or you know what I'm saying, or you know what I'm saying, the girl makes sure that she turn around and show you what she working with. That's when these dudes don't say you want all of that. Don't project those things, but then call yourself a king or a queen. Because that ain't how it work. You know what I'm saying? You ain't got to be flashy like that. You know what I'm saying? That's why people come at you like that. Right. That's what they think you got to offer.
Yeah, and anybody that's got sense knows that when people post stuff like that, it's because they ain't got nothing no way. Or that's their, this is my first whip. You know what I'm saying? My first vacation. You know what I'm saying? I'm not knocking people who do it. But when I would go out of town, and I did it quite frequently, and I'll be going out of town again soon, and I will not put a post up about it. Yeah. Unless I'm down there having a good time, I might post that. But when I go out of town, for the most part, and I used to go all the time. If I had posted every time I went out of town or every time I acquired a new whip or something like that,
you get
people
robbed.
Not only would I get robbed, but people would think that I was being... like I was doing it to be offensive because I did it so frequently. When you're actually doing these things and living this life, you're too busy living it. I don't take pic. We're in the studio. I haven't even taken a picture for being in a conversation. Right. Because we're doing the show. I don't care. I'm not knocking the personalities who do it. I've seen your picture, and I think there's nothing wrong with it. But I come in here, I handle my business, and I'm ready to get out. When it's over with, I'm talking.
I don't take pictures. If it went for Ned.
For real.
I won't have no pictures.
But well, you get my point. It's not about trying to show people, this is what, like you say, new watch, new clothes, or whatever. I don't do it, man. I mean, most of the time the people that are doing it's
pretentious.
It's very pretentious.
It's what it is.
And I'm gonna tell you, everybody who I've been around who actually has things, you do not know that they have them.
Right.
And there's a reason why. There's a reason why people who have money don't let people know that they have money.
Because they smart. Like, first of all, why would you telegraph? You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't telegraph your punches. You don't let people know. I was dating a young lady a couple of years back, and she really thought that, she was like, you don't never let me tag you in no post. I'm like, it's not because I don't want people to know that we hanging out. First of all, why would I care if people knew that we was hanging out, number one? But number two, when you post that you somewhere with me, and people know where I live and where you live, that means that we not at home. Right. It's just certain things that I'm just thinking from a security standpoint, because a lot of people, you can't put anything past anybody. You don't know half the time who these people are on your social media page. So you putting out personal information about you. Most of the time, you don't know what people know. I just heard about somebody answering a message on Facebook Messenger, and this person was able to the person on the other end was able to find out their address, like all kind of information about them just because they hacked into their social media page. And I'm just like, nah, we live in a different day and age. Right. You know what I'm saying? I move like the G in lasagna. You know what I'm saying? You don't need to know what we doing.
Exactly.
Cause when it go wrong, let's speak on it now.
And when
it go wrong, then folks be like, why you all in my business? Well, because you set me up. You buttered me up. Right. It's a soap opera. I want to see the good and the bad.
You turned your life into a reality show.
Right. You know what I'm saying? Can I see the denouement?
And I'm going to tell you something else, too. This is a secret for men. If they don't know it, I'm giving it to you now. When I had a really, really nice car at one point in time. So I ain't never take no pictures, put it on social media. So most people don't know, unless you knew me. Right. And I'm going to tell you something. The curse that come along with that is that when women meet you, the expectations, the date expectations and everything change.
Can't go to Starbucks.
No. Maybe that, you know what I mean, real quick. But you cannot.
That's the first stop.
You can't do Applebee's. But the man with the Civic, which is what I should be driving around, he can do Applebee's. So, because if she agrees to go out with the guy driving the Civic, then her expectations of what he's going to be able to do are going to be adjusted to that. Right. With me, nah, man. Nah, it was the expectations.
I don't think
All the
they're
expectations changed.
They're not adjusted.
Really?
I've shown up in the Honda before the Honda was wrecked, and the expectation is, nigga, you gonna pay.
Oh yeah, but maybe Longhorns, right? You ain't getting Roof Chris expectations.
The point is, wherever you go, it don't matter. You can spend $80 at Applebee's the same way you can spend it in. You know what I'm saying? Like, the money is the money.
You'd have a ball with $80 at Applebee's.
You know what I'm saying?
And you know what? If any woman wants to DM me, please. If you want to go to Applebee's, I'm down for that.
I mean, I'm with
I got 80 for that.
This is what you do, though. I'm gonna give you. You know what I'm saying?
I ain't been on a date at Applebee's in a long time.
And
I really do
need
need
to go in 2019. What you're gonna do is you're gonna find a little. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna find a little pub or a little spot like
Chairs.
Chairs.
Chairs a nice place.
Find places that do things like the franchises do, but get a more intimate. You know what I'm saying? A more intimate vibe. You know what I'm saying? You can go.
I would not mind an Applebee's date. For the record, I don't have to do it, but
man, dude,
if somebody's
the food
down for
Applebee's is garbage, bruh.
I'm a sampler.
That's
Two samplers.
That's the worst thing at Applebee's.
Oh yeah, what do you get?
I don't eat at Applebee's. You know what I'm saying?
I haven't been in a long time, but
don't go. Stop going,
right.
bruh. I mean,
Okay.
you know what I'm saying? Like, look. We've elevated our consciousness. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Sure.
we like we're creative and resourceful enough to find a place
Truth.
that mimics the price point of Applebee's without being Applebee's. That's the creative stuff. When you go to Applebee's, you basic.
yeah,
You just basic.
that's true. The city don't have a lot of places like that though.
Man, the city got plenty of places like that, bruh. They
Really?
do. I'm out here.
Man, a shot is like this big. It's like $10 in the city.
It's where you, first of all, if you're not pre-gaming. See,
Well, no, I do. I do.
Nah, bruh, you're not doing
From
right,
the house
bruh.
all the way
You're
there.
not doing right. You're not doing right, man.
Kevin been to go with me.
We pregame. We both pregame.
No, pregame. You know, we should do a show on pregame.
We should definitely do it. We you know what? We should definitely do a show on pregame because you know what I'm saying. I'm interested
for the
in
modern economical man. Pregame
because,
is a must
because the pregame and the self-serving budget are things that in the new age men really have to master. If you can master your pregame activities, your pre and your post game really matter what your pockets look like at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying?
And speaking of which, any men that want this tip, I'll give it to them in DM. I mean, I know that doesn't sound right, but I don't want to. I mean, because for it to be effective, everybody can't know the spot, but there is a really good spot, an after date spot to go to, where the drinks are and the dessert are just about the same as other places, but the ambiance, you will totally win with this place. So I'll talk about it later. But pre-gaming is
vital.
It is key.
It's vital to the pockets, man.
And know the menu. You know, hide behind if you can. It's not really hiding behind it, but you're really not supposed to go to Olive Garden and eat all that food. So I'm gonna tell you what I have done. Get an appetizer, split one entree. They'll split it up for you. I'm just saying,
the stuff that you doing though, like you setting yourself up.
It worked.
Seemingly it works because they don't tell you that it don't work because women ain't gonna turn down.
By the time we get done eating the appetizer, because I think at Olive Garden you get like 3 for something, but that's a lot of food. And he's like, "Well, damn, do you want? Or how hungry are you? Do you want a full entree?" And you can get like one of the bigger entrees they have for like $18.
The new age meal is,
and you still get salad and breadsticks with it.
Great conversation. If we spent more than if we spent more than between $25 and $50 for real, it's too much. It's too much for that early on stuff because I'm not gonna go out with you. If I like you, I'm gonna want to see you a lot. If I want to see you 3 days in a row, I'm not spending $60, $70, $75, 3 days in a row to spend time with you. That's not what I'm about to do. You shouldn't want me to do that.
I can get you out of Olive Garden with drinks and a tip for $80.
I'm not going to no franchises.
Okay,
I'm not doing no franchises no more. I ain't going to Olive Garden, Longhorn. I ain't going, and I'm not knocking these places. It's real easy to.
Is it Brio? Where's that at over there? Is that Edgewood? Is it Brio? Is that what's called? Italian place over there?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's so.
Place too, though.
Atlanta has so many restaurants, man. It's so many, and it's a lot more spots that are opened up after hours. You know what I mean? I like going to. I got a couple of spots I go to. I go hear some live music, and I'm looking around like, you know what? I might hit Bakari's, or you know what I'm saying? It's all kind of little stuff. You know what I'm saying, that you can do outside of going in and get that same typical thing. Because if you take a young lady to a spot that she ain't never been to before, as opposed to Applebee's, the chances of her kind of loosening up, it don't matter how much you spend. It's the creativity behind how you guys spend your time.
Noni's.
No, I've been going to Noni's, man. You know I rock with Noni's because they got their parking lot behind, like across the street. Right. They say as long as you go in Noni's, you can leave your car there. So I park in Noni's parking lot, go in there, have a couple of, now the food is overpriced for the servings, right? But it's
not expensive though.
But it's not expensive. Yeah. You know what I mean? But you can rack up a tab in there, and if you're trying to bar hop, then you probably won't really be able to bar hop like that if your budget is like.
Speaking of which, when's the last time y'all been to Harold's Chicken and Ice Bar?
I don't go in there because it's the size of this room. It's really small.
Yeah, that's true.
I got to think about small space at the Edgewood. Yeah, I got to think about small spaces, man. I do not like to be in small spaces.
Got it. I know we got off track. Sorry.
So, no, good. So, my question to you is: so, if a woman, let's say you did post your nice car on social media, or
thank God I never did.
Or whatever, and the women you attract is expecting a certain type of lifestyle from you based on what you post on social media, do you consider them a gold digger?
No, I don't, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because like what Law was saying, once you put that bait out there, then that's what you're gonna get. You're gonna get somebody who's into that, and they're like, okay, this is what I saw, and I'm gonna tell you to a woman's credit that I hung out with, and she put me on some game, and she said, if you driving this, then you should be able to afford this. You should be dressed nicely. You know what I mean? You can't have this piece and be missing all these other pieces, or really you outside of your budget. Right. And it makes sense, right? You know what I mean? You should not, whether or not you want a Bentley drop top or something like that, and I did not have that, by the way. But let's say you want that, you should not be in a position where you can't afford to put it in a garage that is parked out in the elements. There are certain things that just don't fit. You should have nice suits. You know what I mean? Or at least nice clothes. It doesn't have to be suits, but you understand what I'm saying. Right. I mean, everything should fit. You know what I mean? I don't want to go into a nice house and, maybe if you're just kind of eclectic and gothic, otherwise, I don't want to see beanbags. I mean, everything should fit.
Right.
So it's a lot of people who can just barely afford the note and the insurance, and they get frustrated when women want to tax them. But the assumption is that if you rolling like this, that comprehensively, this is how you live.
Right.
And that's where a lot of them get thrown off, because 99% of people who posting that stuff, if they do have what they're posting, everything, that's all they got.
Okay. So,
to their credit, just to be fair to them. Yeah.
So I know they'll be coming in the next 10 minutes. So I want to go with you first. What would you want the listeners to hear from you?
Man,
whatever's on your spirit.
Man, I love each and every one of y'all, man. I love y'all like I love myself. I'm patient. I appreciate everything. I appreciate my trials, my tribulations. You know what I'm saying? Because it's made me so much, and it's continuously making me so much better. But nah, man, I just appreciate the feedback. I know y'all think we a little, you know what I'm saying, we're a little loopy around here, but seriously though, I mean, I really am quite grounded. I've always been quite grounded, but I appreciate opportunities and platforms like this to where I can kind of speak and hear some of the things, you know what I'm saying. Here's some of the things I need to work on. Here's some of the things that are working. You know what I mean? Like really learning the efficacy of like your talents and the way you move in life. And I'm realizing that now. So yeah, man, definitely thank you as always for having me and my light skinned brother from another mother over here, because I feel like we like Ken and Raul.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like our mindsets are so very similar, but there are some nuances. You know, I'm pretty sure you look at me like, damn, that's harsh, and I look at you like, damn, that's harsh.
Right.
But we still agree. You know what
I'm
saying? Like,
yeah.
balance, so we don't fall off the cliff. You know what I'm saying? Right. But yes, but ladies, man, definitely, like, I appreciate y'all listening in. Once again, appreciate the feedback. I know some beautiful ladies out there. Maybe one day I might be out and about, man. Y'all might see a brother with a hood on, be like, I know him. Just come up and talk, man. I don't bite, man. I'm a cool cat. You know what I mean? So appreciate it, man. Music Month ATL back up in here.
Yes, sir.
Rounding out 2018 with y'all.
Right. Yeah. As usual, too. I'm always honored. I look forward to these men's roundtable discussions. I have a great time here.
Yeah, we learn so much.
And I'm appreciative and at the same time saddened. So I guess oxymoronically, it's a little bittersweet that we're all moving in elevated directions. Mm-hmm. So we don't have as much time to do it.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
we knew that was going to happen though at some point. So, but I'm happy to be here. I do enjoy it. We're never out to demonize anybody, but this is a platform where we can't be interrupted when we talk. So that means the whole thought has to get out. There's an opportunity for the whole thought to get out. And these are things that we deal with, that we think about as black men. And I don't know who the viewers or listeners are. And so I think that you can really appreciate our authenticity, because for the most part, a lot of people feel that especially a lot of things I say drive people away. So you're not listening to somebody who has intentions on, like, you know, trying to get in your drawers or whatever, you know. And there's something to be said about the authenticity associated with somebody who has no motive. You know what I mean? And so it insulates us and provides us the opportunity to be 100% honest. And that's what we need. We just want honest discussion. It doesn't have to be what we want to hear. You know, you got enough people that tell you what you want to hear every day, and that's not what we're here to do. We're here to be honest and talk about what we deal with as young black men here in this city. You know, what we've experienced, what we've gone through. But it's, like I said, it's great to be here, and I would love to tell everybody to please be encouraged. It's a new year coming up. It's a new day tomorrow. We don't even have to wait till the new year. Try something new. If it doesn't work, you can always go back to. There's always room to go back to the other thing. Right. But try something new. Try a new mindset. You know, try. I don't care what it is. If it's if you're right-handed, try putting your pants leg on with the left foot first. You know what I mean? Try a new restaurant. Try a new culture. Get involved in one of these Spanish groups or African groups, or try. I had a wonderful experience with some brothers from the Congo who I started working with, and I am just ecstatic about. I kind of got a mini testimony. I won't take too much.
Go ahead, brother.
But they said, you know, you keep doing for us what you do, and we're already making money. And I met this brother on Saturday, and he gave me a kickback of $300.
Wow.
Of appreciation. Now, when the hell does that happen at?
Right.
When the last time people did what they said they was going to do when it comes to money?
Right. In your life.
Right.
That's just a testament for who you are.
And thankfully, I appreciate that. But what I'm saying is that there are some people out. Just get out. The world, Atlanta. One good thing about Atlanta is it, with it becoming an international city, is a microcosm of the world. Man, get you some new friends, man. I'm going to an Asian bar this weekend. I'm telling you, man. Tomorrow's show is going to be about Kareem Hunt and what happened with him and how he may have lost his NFL career. We're going to get into that really in depth because he had some misconduct with a white woman. And we're going to talk about all of that. From that situation to Tiger Woods to
Ben Roethlisberger is a rapist.
Right. Michael Strahan, a pedophile. Michael Strahan, who had an opportunity to speak out on the panel after that white woman wrung him through the cleaners. you know, Ezekiel Elliott, who got suspended in his NFL career because of something that was alleged to have happened at Ohio State while he was in college. So it's going to be a great discussion. Tune in. I'm Laris Hodges. That's Laris Hodges, Hodges. I'm on Instagram too. I think my name will come up if you put in Laris Hodges on Instagram. If it doesn't, then Beer in a Conversation will. And but thanks again, man. Y'all have a wonderful evening. Kevin, thank you so much.
You know, I'm a piggyback. You know, it's funny that, you know, we at this place right now as we go into 2019, and it's funny how, you know, sometimes either after my show or after your show, we all meet up for a drink or something, and to see the grind, the benefits of the grind as it's starting to, you know, manifest itself, you know. And then with that being said, it is a good thing and a bad thing, because we don't have the time like we used to have to kick it like we used to. But my mindset was, I'm making it intentional to still make sure if we don't get to see each other,
we get to do these roundtables.
We do this.
Yeah.
Because it allows, you know, for one, it helps me showcase black men doing great things.
Right.
For one.
Right.
And then two, the growth of you guys has really showed, you know, just not just the women but the men, that you can grow and elevate and be your best self and still be true to who you are. So, you know, just to have you guys.
That is really true, because I'm still wearing my hood.
You still who you are. But you have changed in the year and a half since I know you, and you've been doing this show.
Yeah.
And so, you know, and he's still who he is, but but he has, you know, he has grown a whole lot.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
So, you know, with that being said, you know, I hope their authentic words of, you know, healing themselves and be, you know, doing the work to be their best self has, you know, if you can't receive it right now, at least let it plant the seed into your spirit. So when you are ready to receive what they said, you go back to what these men said and let that manifest to your spirit, so you can heal yourself and be the best version of who you are, male or female. So, now, with that being said, it's been the Wellness Architect Show with my boys, Laris Hodges and Music Monk ATL. Be great, be you, be authentic, and we are out. Peace.
Peace. I found an Asian bar too, by the way.
We done.
Oh, no, man, nothing. Yeah, so it's a place over there off Peachtree Center, but they close at like 10 o'clock. But it looks like an authentic.